You wanted it, so here it is. Today we are going to dive into my top books of 2025 as well as the worst books of 2025. Get it right, girl. Okay, I'm going to try not to go into too great of depth of these books. We know how I can go down a rabbit hole. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here all day. I don't want to edit that. And I know that you don't want to be here all day. So I am going to try to get my shit together and do kind of like a rapid fire. I'm giving myself like a minute and a half or less to give you some key points about these books. Here's the thing, I've already talked about these books. I've talked in depth about these books, some of them multiple times in many different videos, but here is just, this is the why of why they are so special, right? And it was really hard to narrow it down. I didn't know, did I want to do a top 15? Did I do 12? I ultimately landed on 10 because I just, good round number, but it was so hard to narrow it down. So we're going to do my top 10 books of 2025, and then we're going to talk about the worst books. And because I don't want to end on a note, right? Like, we don't want to end on negativity. I've got some honorable mentions here because, again, it was so hard to narrow it down. So before we can get into that, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. I am Jen, and this is Bookmark My Jen. We are going to talk about the 10 books of 2025 when we're in the second month of the year already. But let's do it. In no particular order. Okay, guys? No particular order. Honestly, if any order, it was probably the order that I read them in. Here we go. First up, oh my gosh, Irreversible by Jennifer Hartman and Shelley St. Clair. I knew when I read this book in January of 2025, it was in the top 10. And here it is. One of the first books I read in 2025, and I'm like still thinking about Everly and Isaac. You want emotional? Here it is. You want raw and real and gritty and messy? Here it is. Everly has been kidnapped and held by a madman and tortured for 2+ years. Isaac was on a task force to help find her, but he also has some personal stake in this case. This story is something else, but the depth of these characters, it stayed with me all year and even now. It made this book for me. How Everly was able to keep her wits about her while chaos was going on around her and people around her were losing their shit. How she was able to stay human through the ordeal that she was put through. It was amazing. It was a wow. She is the type of FMC that I love. The relationship that her and Isaac created and grew and forged while only sharing a wall. They didn't see each other's faces. Was so intriguing and powerful. Like, you can truly find love in the darkest places, but to create characters in a story like this, it was just phenomenal. Excellent book. Next up, I have For Wrath and Redemption by Britt Benson. This is book 3 in the Hometown Heartless. I've talked about the series a lot. It is a Rockstar romance series. This is a series I absolutely love. Like I said, Rockstar romance, real life problems, sharp, witty FMCs, strong yet bit broken MMCs, banter, fun. The sex is amazing. A good story, like a really well-rounded plot. This one follows Jonah and Claire. Jonah is our resident bad boy rocker, right? Who has found himself in need of a little bit of a babysitter, where Claire comes into play. He's the bass guitarist for the Hometown Heartless, and he's an addict. He needs a rebrand, and he needs some much needed help. Claire has her work cut out for her, but I love how looks can be deceiving, and what you see is not what you necessarily get with Jonah. He's not a dumb rocker. He is actually extremely smart, extremely deep, and there is a depth there that it plays so well between Claire and Jonah. I love how we get two people who are both broken in completely different ways, and they each have their own problems that they're trying to deal with while helping somebody else. This road to redemption, do you see what I did there? Because it's called Wrath to Redemption. Okay. She's got jokes, ladies and gentlemen. It can be like rocky, right? Your road to redemption can be rocky, but it's completely worth it when you not only find somebody who's willing to fight with you, but alongside you and pushing you to be better. And I love this book. Okay, next I have Shattered Hate by P.S. Black. I have talked about these ad nauseum, but like, I cannot get enough of these. And in April, we are getting the next book. Shattered Obsession, which I am like already obsessed with. If you haven't read these books, oh my gosh, they are just absolutely amazing. Like, hands down was going to be my top 10. Like, it just, I knew it. These books are so emotional and raw and ugh, like, the depth of the characters, right? Like, I think that's what really hits me when I hit a top whatever. It's the depth of characters. When you have a well-rounded character and a well-rounded plot, and you know that this author has completely like been there or thought about it, and has these people are real to you, right? So we have Dax and Trayton in this one. It is the second book after Shattered Ice. Do not read this book until you read Shattered Ice, because you're gonna miss a lot. You're gonna miss a lot, even though you could essentially read this as a standalone. I honestly, I wouldn't say that you could. You're gonna get so much more out of this book, knowing and feeling and going through the events that you do in the first book, which is Shattered Ice. So in that vein, I absolutely fell in love with Poppy's writing. She just really knows how to pull you into a story and make you feel these characters, and just make you really want to like dive in and be with these characters. This is another romance. It's got hockey vibes, enemies to lovers, with a little twist. And that's a little sweet twist, okay? Real characters, raw, gritty, emotional. The story, you're rooting for these characters, right? You are sad when they're sad. You're mad when they're mad. You get mad for them. You hurt when they're hurting. You are elated when they get the moments you know that they need and you want. And it's just, I love these boys and I love this series, and I cannot wait for the next book just so I can like give my boys a hug again, because whoo, yes. Next up we have, oh gosh, I mean, like, we're rolling into the emotion. We have Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. I know that this book had some controversy with it, but you cannot deny how amazingly well Chloe writes a book and how well she did with this book. I think, and it's just my opinion here, reading is subjective, but I think she did an absolutely amazing job with the content. Again, I know that it was controversial, and we're not going to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about, this is a book that I absolutely loved. Was it hard? Yes, it was extremely hard to read. Like, emotional in a completely different sense from these other books. Did I have to put this book down because of the content? Yeah, I did, but it immediately made me want to pick it up because I just had to know what was going on. I felt so much for these characters, and I was waiting for Lizzie's story. I needed a little bit more redemption after Gypsy's story. That was a little bit of a letdown for me, and even though some of the content drags, well, and that's an understatement, the content from his book is way more in this book. But I love a redemption arc, and Lizzie, I needed that for her because she was a little bit of an enigma, right? She's such a good friend to the girls, but she can be such a bitch at times, and you're like, what is going on? Well, you figure out what is going on in this book, and you think that you know who Lizzie is, and you have no idea who she is until you get to her story. My heart broke for her. My heart broke for her and Huey as a couple, for a girl fighting for herself and the world around her, not knowing if what she's seeing is actually happening, a girl who's misunderstood and tortured and struggles every day, but is so unbelievably strong. And I don't think that she knows it yet. And because as big as this book is, we're not done with it. Like, we still have more of Lizzie and Huey's story to come. Am I waiting for that on pins and needles? Yes, I am. But also, like, I'm okay with waiting a little bit because I know how emotional that's going to be. But not only do we need redemption for Lizzie, but we need justice, right? Let's end this on a good note, and let's just say a few like words about Hugh. Oh boy, Huey. Chloe knows how to write stand up men for her women, and my boy Huey, like, he's gold. He is pure gold. Next up, I have Take Me With You by Nina G. Jones. I had not read anything by Nina before this, and like, just wow. I knew that it was going to be a darker read. I didn't know much going into it. Like, I knew that she says take me with you, but I didn't know like the extent of what's going on. What I really loved about the story, and I think what really made this story real, like it could happen. Well, I mean, it could happen, but I think what really made the story or helped make the story was it was set in the 1970s. You got to think about in the 1970s, a lot of things that we have today, technology and all that, like weren't there. So, people can get away with some stuff. We follow Sam and we follow Vesper in this, and I have to say, like, I really did fall a little bit in love with these characters and the plot. And that's hard to say because we have Sam, who is a man who does some heinous and absurd things, but he stumbles upon his next victim, Vesper, and when shit hits the fan, she implores him to take her with him instead of hurting somebody that she loves, and he does. And so the story unfolds, right? So Vesper's ability and will to survive in an unspeakable conditions kept me turning the pages. The relationship that builds from the need to survive ultimately turns into something else. It's under romance. Like, I mean, I think even like Nina at the beginning of the book like says it's like not a romance book, but I mean, like, is there romance involved? Yes, it's an unconventional romance in my opinion because they do form a relationship with the way that the story plays out and the twists and turns, the things that happen. I think that's what put it at the top for me. When you can take the whole, like the full story, and it does this to your brain, like for sure it's in a top, right? Definitely check your triggers, please, with this one. It's not a light story. It is very dark. It has very dark content, but there is beauty in everything. Next up, I have the Frozen Fate trilogy by Pam Godwin. It is over here, and they are chunky. If you've read them, you know I'm not gonna pick them up. Okay, you know what the Frozen Fate trilogy looks like. I'll pop it up here for you. Of course, this trilogy was going to be in here. If you read it, how is it not? Okay, it's Pam Godwin. I love her writing. Like when we talk about somebody who can create this world and where you're literally seeing, feeling, hearing everything, she is one of those authors. Her attention to detail, the way that she knows how to tell a story, her characters, she knows these characters inside and out, so then you know them inside and out. How she tells the story to give you just enough, then hitting you with the truth a little bit later on is absolutely amazing. How she does that, I love her brain. These were fast moving books at times. They were slow at times, but they were slow where they needed to be. That being said, they don't feel slow in the moment. Like, I feel like you needed that breath when you had those slow moments. You needed that breath to be like, okay, I'm good. Like, that shit happened and I'm processing with them, kind of thing. There's action, there's healing, there's trauma, there's heartbreak, terror, survival, relationships forged through all of this. Frankie is kidnapped and taken to a remote island where she meets three brothers. Do I have a favorite? Oh, yes, I do have a favorite. And that's all I'm going to say about that. There's really, you cannot, there's no spoiling. I'm so ready for The Rise of Ink and Smoke, which comes out at the end of March. I need that boy's story. If you know, you know. Do not pick that story up without having read the trilogy because that's just wrong. You don't do things like that. You know what I mean? Next up, I have another new to me author for this year. It is the Love Song Duet by L.M. Halloran. Wow. I really want to read her backlist. I don't know how I'm going to read all the books that I want to read this year and still not drive myself crazy because I just don't read as much as everybody else, and I'm okay with that, but there are just so many things that I want to read, and how it's the pressure, you know what I mean? Holy shit, these books. So we follow Wilder and Evangeline, or Eva. This is a rock star romance, friends to lovers. There is substance abuse. Please check your triggers. I'm not going to be able to do this duet adequate justice, but the emotion, the frustration of characters doing the wrong thing and you just having to sit back and let it happen because they have to learn. That's part of a story, is shit hitting the fan and you seeing what they do with it. Would they react the way that you do? How do you even know that you would react that way? But just watching a full picture moment, the misunderstandings or not thinking that you're good enough for somebody, the self-sabotage, the substance abuse, again, check your trigger warnings, but L.M. Halloran does such an amazing job with this duet, and these characters, they're so real. They are, I mean, like, you could literally touch these characters. You can tell that there is a personal connection for the author and these characters because of the sensitivity and the rawness of the story. If you are like me and you do read like cover to cover, you do realize that yes, there is in fact a personal connection, but before I read that, I knew that just the way that she wrote, she understood. There is a knowing in that, right? This duet is so powerful. It had me thinking of it. I mean, still thinking of it long after the last sentence was read. You will cry. You will get mad. You will scream. You will cheer. This is one that you will get like all the emotions from. The ride isn't easy. You do get frustrated, but oh my God, is it so worth it? You have to read it. Next up, I have Take My Love by Brooke Montgomery. Brooke Montgomery has become one of my favorite authors. It is why that I wanted to be on her Arc and Street team. She weaves amazing stories with family ties that are so strong. And, one of my favorite shows is Parenthood. I think I've watched that entire series like 5 or 6 times. I watch it like every single year. I'm probably ready to watch it again. I love the family dynamic. I love how you can fight in one moment and laugh hysterically, tears running down your face in the next. Like, I am an only child. I didn't have this, 5 siblings, 4 siblings, whatever. It's fun to see that dynamic. And then when you have fun family moments, I love that. And she does it so well. This book, though, Take My Love, is part of the Willow Branch Mountain series and follows Posey and Silas. Posey has had a crush on her older brother's best friend for some time. We meet her older brother, Wilder, in the first book. They hook up at his wedding, and whoa. But like so many of these things, there is some miscommunications, misunderstandings. So the next morning, feelings are hurt, and that leads them to keep their distance for about 8 years. Now, if you know me, if you've been around any time, then you know miscommunication is not my cup of tea. It is a pet peeve of mine. I hate it. I think, ugh, it annoys me. But sometimes it's done well. If it's not done well, it gives me a huge ick. But if it's played with and done well, I can get over it. But this is another reason why I love Brooke's writing so much. She weaves it well, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're at the present, and Silas is in need of a job. He needs a place to live because he needs to lick some recent wounds that he has had. Posey is extremely reluctant to help because of the whole I have to hate you kind of thing, but it's really hard to do so when you look so good, and I want to scratch your eyes out, but I'd rather climb you like a tree monkey kind of thing. So we have Forced Proximity, a bit of a fun ghost-like presence who loves the Golden Girls, and you had me at Golden Girls. There's goat yoga, fun and games, there's fun banter, tattoos, off-the-charts chemistry, and MMC who's excellent at dirty talk. Oh, I mean, it made me blush. And it's just a great small town romance, which brings me to not a small town romance, but another duet. And that is My Dark Mafia duet by Gianna Darling. Again, like Pam, how could these not be in your top books of the year? I love this duet. It came around at the perfect time for me at the end of the year. Guinevere and Raphael couldn't be more different on the outside, but Guinevere has a fierceness about her that she lets out with him. She meets him by chance when he plows into her with his car while she's running away from an attacker, and literally straight into the arms of a man who seems like a gentleman, but he really is a ruthless mafioso kingpin that they call the gentleman, which is, funnily enough. This is a whirlwind romance, you guys, and I loved the tender moments that bend to dirty talk and gorgeous settings and drama and found family and action. If you want to be immersed in a story, then pick up any Gianna Darling book. And literally, you will taste, you will smell, you will see, you will be transported to wherever you are. And luckily for you, you were transported to Italy with these. Guinevere is naive, if not very smart, but having been sheltered all of her life because she has an autoimmune disease, she's ready to let loose and find herself and find out where she came from. And I will admit that she did annoy me at times. The way that she handled certain situations rubbed me a little the wrong way, but you have to remember how naive she is, and the overall story, the full story, these characters, the side characters, the Gianna of it all was fantastic. And honestly, it's what I needed to help me end the year on a really good note. We are to the 10th book, you guys. I am so proud of myself. Okay, let's keep it going because, we're not done. We're not done after this. All right, my last book in my top 10 of the year is Distorted by Nyla Kay. Again, another one that I read at the end of the year. This is the first book in the Alabaster Pen series. It follows Dash and Kemper. I've talked about these books so much, and it's only the first book, and I have not read the other 5 books. I'm hoping to pick up Joyless this month. There are 6 books to be read in order. You have to read them in order. They can easily be spoiled by ruining the plot twists and big revealing moments, so you have to read them in order. Do not tell me anything if you know. I don't want to know anything. Dash has been sent to Alabaster for doing something bad, obviously. When you're sent here, you're done. Okay? Alabaster doesn't exist to the world, therefore you don't exist to the world. You are dead. You die here because you're not getting out. There's no possibility of parole. There's no nothing. There's no escaping. You're not getting out. You die here. You are sent here, you die here, you're already dead in the eyes of the world, so you're done, right? Nothing is as what it seems at Alabaster Pen. You have no rights, and the guards have full reigns to change their mind at any moment, meaning you could do one thing today and tomorrow you're going to get punished for it. You might even be sent to solitary confinement for it. The cast of characters, though, are so super interesting. I cannot wait to read more. Like, I need to know more, especially because, like, when I finished this book, I had so many what the fuck moments. I had so many, I still have so many questions, but like in the best possible way. I said this on my December wrap up, like in the best possible way. I still have questions. I know some of them will be answered, but like just the mind fuck of it all. Oh my gosh, that's what keeps me coming back for these. Dash and Kemper's relationship though is like it's so brutal and secretive and healing at times, and I just love the way that that unfolded. But you guys, these are really dark books, so please, again, check your triggers. I just love Nyla's writing, as well as getting like swept up in the plot and the twists and the turns and the relationships. And I know that this is like just the start of like some crazy shit happening, considering like how I ended the story. Like I know that like more insanity is coming, but like I'm ready for it. Like I'm ready for it. Okay, and those were my top 10 books of the year. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up into chapters for you so it'll be easy. Probably should have said at the beginning, but so I'll have the top 10 books. Now we're going to talk about the worst books, and then I'll have a chapter for honorable mentions at the end. All right, let's get into the worst books that I read in 2025. I really don't like doing this, and I think that's why I wanted to tack it on to best. Like I think last year, like I had like a full-on worst, and I don't like doing this. So okay. But you want me to be honest, so here it is. The first book I have is The Devil Himself by B.B. Easton. Oh, it really kills me to say this. I DNF'd this book, which is why it's on the worst. I wasn't huge on the bandwagon for the first book, which is, The Devil of Dublin. It was good. Like, I think I still gave it a 4 stars. The writing was good, the story was good, the characters were, intriguing, but there was something off about it with me. Same with this one. I was not invested in it. I DNF'd it. I think I was like maybe even like 60 or 70%, and I couldn't anymore. So I stopped it. Next up, I don't think that this is going to be a surprise, especially if you watched the live show on this one. Devour by Gail Harris. I mean, if it wasn't 200 pages, I would have DNF'd this. This one is just a fucking shit show. Legitimately, literally, that's all she talks about in the book is the female character shitting herself. It was epically horrible, and it was gross, and it was just a Red Riding Hood retelling. That was no. Save yourself. No. Next up in the worst category is Wrapped in Silver by Sarah Weiss. I feel like did I DNF this one too? I can't even remember. This wasn't what I was expecting. I feel like this was an arc that I signed up for. The premise drew me in. I had never read anything by Sarah Weiss, but it kept letting me down. The FMC was so annoying and just was was trying to redeem herself in my eyes, but like never quite got there. There was too many holes in the story and jumps in the story, and not enough from like backstory. Like there was this really intriguing backstory of the MMC where he's like this ghost. They call him the ghost. He's like an assassin or some shit like that. But like there was this much of it. I wanted more of that. Like, or bring that guy back. Do you know what I mean? Like there was just it was boring. I did not like it. Which brings me to my last worst of 2025. This was an ALC that I had signed up for, and I felt so bad. I ended up having to email the PR company and letting them know like I just didn't care to finish it, and I didn't want to review it because it was boring. Enough. It was just boring. It was annoying and ridiculously immature. Again, the FMC was immature. Like you can be immature, you can be naive, but I need to see some growth. If you're just being stupid just to be stupid, if you're being annoying because like that's how we think women should be, no. Like, are we annoying? Yes, we are. Do we say stupid things? Yes, we do. Do we act on our emotions before our brain catches up? Absolutely we do. But if you were just like that all the time, no. Stop. Like, no. I don't need that in my books. I'm trying to escape. I don't want that in my book. She also would speak out loud, but she thought it was in her head without realizing it numerous times. Once in a book, I'm gonna let it pass. But when it happens more than like 5 times, how do you not know that you're speaking? Just shut up. No, no. I do believe that this was part of a duet as well. And when I emailed the PR company, I was like, obviously I'm not going to finish it. Obviously I'm not going to review it. And I do not want the next book because I'm not finishing this one. So let's roll into some honorable mentions. Again, we're going to do rapid fire. These are really good books. They could have been on my top of 2025. Maybe it was the whole book. Maybe it was parts of a book. Maybe it was a character that stood out or key moments that stood out, or I got something from the book, like a good message or something. But for whatever reason, I need to say a few words about these. First up, I have The Nanny is Off Limits by QB Tyler. This was absolutely perfect. One of my new favorites from her. I really loved the way that she brought in not only the nanny but Rowan and then having the kids, and I love that dynamic. I hadn't seen that. I don't think that I have seen it from QB Tyler, so I was just really, it was a fun read. I can't wait for her new book. Oh, it's coming out at the end of the month. Oh, I can't wait. For Always by Ari Wright. I can't put my finger on this one, but it stood out, and it's still a book I think about. It was so well rounded. It was a little predictable. It was a lot predictable. Like, I could guess immediately what was going on. You go back and forth from future to past tense about how these two met and fell in love and why they're not together anymore. And it was predictable, but I loved the story and I didn't care that it was predictable. One of the things I loved most, that it wasn't a conventional rich boy meets not rich girl and you're not good enough for each other. If somebody makes you happy, yay, and the people around them, parents included, are like, you're happy. Yay. We're not going to be the person that cuts that out for you. And this book honestly came around at the perfect time because I was having a hard time getting a good read. Next up, I have The Fucking Wrong Rookie by C.R. Jane. I just love the series. I talk about the series a lot. I love the series so fucking much. This is one of the more emotional ones, and I loved it. Next up, I have Where Quiet Hearts Scream by Victoria Holiday. This series is complete. I just talked about the last book in my January wrap-up, which I will leave in a card and down below for you. There is a spin-off to come. It's a 4-book Mafia series, and it hits so flippin' good. The only small downside that I have is that I absolutely love these books, but as soon as I put it down, I tend to forget what happened. Like, immediately, I'm like, wait a minute. Which book was that? What was that? What were the names? But I'm so encapsulated when I'm in the book. It's like the smallest little downside. I mean, but that's just me. In the current book that I'm reading, I probably don't know one of the characters' names. I'm sure. Like one of the main characters, I'm sure I forgot it. So, I mean, that is not anything new for me. Overall, great series, but this book, for sure, if you want fun and sexy and twisted MMC, strong FMC, mafia read, it's a great book for you. Next up, I have The Homemaker by Julie Ann. This was a buddy read of ours. I'll leave that as well. This was so unconventional and funny at times. She's literally paid to be a 1950s housewife, like dressed in 1950s dresses, be a housewife to an older gentleman because his wife just can't be bothered to do that for him. And like, we're well off enough that I can hire somebody to do that. She cooks for him and she does the laundry and she reads to him before his afternoon nap. There, of course, is like so much more to this book, but it was just such a cool concept that it made the honorable mentions. Next up, I have Stolen Dreams by Natasha Madison, 4th book in the series, and it was fantastic. I think this is another one that came around right at the right time for me, along with the 1st book in the series. These are my 2 favorite books in the series. This one follows Lila and Emmett. Both have past traumas. One is already in love with the other one. The other one is a grumpy little shithead and is hell-bent on not letting anybody in. But the way that the story unravels pulled me in immediately. Okay, we are to the very last book of this video, and it is To Catch a Firefly by Emmy Sanders. This was another hard one not to put in my top of the year. I originally had 12, and I had put this on there, but I just... we went to 10. Oh well. This is an MM romance, but the dynamic between these characters was not what I was expecting. Completely took me by surprise. in the best way. It's a childhood friends to lovers and a perfect story for a love that grows over time and that is true. But like in life, sometimes you have to let somebody that you love sprout their wings and do their own thing and eventually will find their way back to you. I mean, it's like that whole adage of when you love something, set it free. If they come back, amazing. Like, and sometimes they do come back, but sometimes we have to let that other person live a life, see what's happening on the other side. Is the grass greener? Get that life under their belt to realize what's been staring us in the face this whole time. This was just a beautiful story of love and friendship and found family and strength and courage. And again, it was very unconventional. But I'm not going to tell you what that was because I don't want to spoil anything. But it was just it has stuck with me. Those are my best, my worst, and my honorable mentions because I cheated just a little bit of 2025. Have you read any of these books? Did you love them as much as I did? Did you hate them? I think I would be interested in that as well. Have I intrigued you to read any of these books? I want to know all the details. I also want to know some of your favorite books of 2025, or give me some of your worst, or do both, or just tell me all. I want to hear it all. I love watching people's best and worst. Okay, that is going to do it because now I have to get this edited so I can get it up to you. I hope you're having a fantastic start to 2026. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to catch you on my next video, but until then, happy reading. Bye.